Hey friends, Frankie and Brad here in the kitchen today, and we're going to talk about stage mishaps today. People that have literally fell on stage or knocked over equipment, unusual incidences. Brad, kick us off.
All right, we're starting with Art Garfunkel of Simon and Garfunkel. Was doing a solo tour in Biloxi, Mississippi at the Isle of Capri Casino when in the middle of a song he walked right off the end of the stage. Reportedly he was not seriously injured and was able to finish the show, but that had to be really embarrassing.
Yeah, one of the things that we both know is if you play enough live shows, you're going to have mishaps. You're going to, you can stumble over chords. Simply put, shit happens. It's how you recover that's important. If you make a big deal out of it, it's a big deal. But if you just brush it off, the audience just laughs it off too. Frank Zappa, tell us a little bit about Zappa.
Mothers of Invention. I was not a really big Zappa fan. He was a little bit too far out there for me, but he was a very good guitar player. And there are a few CDs that you can hear that on. In '71, Frank Zappa was doing a show and was accidentally pushed off stage into an orchestra pit, and he ended up in a wheelchair, and he had problems the rest of his life from that accident, but that actually happened on stage.
Yeah. And it's, it's one of those things that often happen, an off-the-wall thing. I was at a Buffett show, and somebody threw one of those things around their neck, and hit him right in the face. We're going to move on to Peter Gabriel. Brad?
Peter Gabriel was doing a live show, and he actually jumped off the stage. I don't know if he was expecting the crowd to catch him or what, but he broke his ankle. Obviously, he did not finish the show. Things like that. You always hear about people getting hurt, like in a mosh pit or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anytime you jump off stage, you're taking a big risk. That's
true. AC/DC, one of those guys, fell
Angus
Young. Fell in the orchestra pit, and I believe 38 Special broke a leg. One of those guys broke a leg.
Yeah, Angus Young did break his leg falling off stage, so it happens more than you think.
Yeah, it really does. Sammy Hagar, hanging on rafters, fell and broke a leg. Going to move into Dickie Betts. I was at an Allman Brothers show years back, and I'm lost for where it was. I've seen the brothers probably 5 or 6 times in and around North Carolina, where I grew up. And one of the shows I saw, Dickie Betts was so drunk that he fell into a stack of Marshalls and took them down like dominoes, and they had to stop the show. Fortunately, they had spare amps, hook everything back up, and it was just a real embarrassment for the band, and it was quite annoying for the fans, I mean, man, I was losing my high. Brad, take us into Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper was in Vancouver in 1975. He's famous for having all the stage props, and at this night they had a giant toy box that somehow ran into Alice and propelled him off the stage, where he broke 6 ribs, had 15 stitches in his head, and a concussion. reportedly he got bandaged up and came right back on stage.
Yeah.
He can withstand a lot of things, obviously.
Alice is a performer. He's certainly one of those guys that gives you his
Everything.
all and then
Yeah.
some. Wow.
Yeah, we are naming our top 10, and right now we're at number 4, which is a group, Argent. They had a hit with Hold Your Head Up. At one of their concerts, during an encore, the guitar player, Russ Ballard, threw his guitar up. I guess he was trying to catch the neck and missed. Broke his nose, and from what I have read, the blood spewed everywhere. So, not the kind of encore you want to pull off, but it's absolutely memorable for the people who were there.
Moving on, another Alice Cooper incident. Tell us about Rockingham.
Rockingham Speedway. This was probably in the early 70s. I was actually there. They were doing the Schooled Out tour, and in the middle of a song, somebody hit Alice Cooper where no man wants to be hit with a full can of beer.
Ooh.
Not opened.
Oh.
He literally bent over for probably 10-15 seconds, and when he pulled back up, he stopped the show. Everybody stopped. And he said, he said, you guys from the South, y'all have this idea that we are what y'all call funny. He said, I invite any 5 women in the audience to come backstage when we're through, and we'll show you how funny we are. And then they started playing again. It was a great show.
Wow. Next off, we're going to go into a famous incident that I'm sure everybody's heard of,
Yep.
and that's the Doors in Miami when, Jim Morrison allegedly, whips his Johnson out, and that made a lot of publicity and probably one of the largest, scandals in rock and roll.
Now, there's been a documentary made about that in which the surviving members of the Doors said they never saw that.
Yeah.
So who knows what really happened? There have been speculation that Jim actually stuck his finger through his zipper, and that a police officer may have thought, oh, he's doing something he shouldn't.
Yeah.
But whatever happened, the band members say they didn't see it.
Yeah, and he was arrested, and he left the country to Paris, before trial, and ended up, dead. So,
Yeah,
we'll never know.
and supposedly that's one of the most recognized tourist sites in Paris.
Yeah.
Is Jim Morrison's grave.
True. And last, we're going to end with what we think is our number one most recognized incident, and that's Ozzy biting the head off a bat.
Yep, that happened in Des Moines, Iowa, where someone threw a live bat on stage. Well, it may not have been a live, but it was a real one. Ozzy thought it was a toy, grabbed it, bit the head off, and he said right when he bit into it, he realized this is no toy. He had to endure rabies shots, which are, by all
Long
accounts,
needles.
very painful.
Yeah.
And he learned a very hard lesson from that. But that actually happened. He did bite the head of a bat off.
Wow. Well, hey, friends, we're going to ask you to subscribe to our site. Give us a thumbs up. Brad and I have noticed that we're getting commercials on our sites and we're not getting revenues, and we really need a few more subscribers. So if you could subscribe to our site, we'd really appreciate you. And as always, thanks for watching our video and have a great day.